Thank you for joining us for the policy committee meeting. We'll open this up at 5:32. Right, thank you for joining us. Right, so what Lynn is passing out right now are 4532 and 4532 are the reg.
Okay.
And so what she's done, she's just provided the changes that I had occurred on those particular documents. Yeah, do we see the exhibits to this?
Oh,
So let's, how about if we go through,
easy one.
let's go through the easy policies first. So we can keep this moving. And I like my list at home. Can we start with the board evaluation?
Yes,
All right.
can I tell you comment on that?
Yes. Go ahead.
I have just several comments on that. For, the second sentence, accordingly, the members of the board shall conduct an annual evaluation. I think it's difficult to conduct an annual evaluation in July because board members are ever changing, so I suggest that we put mid-year or before December.
I had crossed out annual as well. My preference would be to do something like in December and another one in May.
Right.
Right, so the board shall conduct.
Yeah, how about a mid-year review and final review?
Yes, okay.
Mid-year review by December and final review in May.
Yes, mid-year review. I would say December.
Okay,
I'm thinking so.
in December and final in May. But by end of May. Or just in May is fine, in May.
In May, yeah.
And then the only other suggestion I had, there's two different evaluations in here. I suggest getting rid of the first one and keeping the NISBA one.
You know what, I looked through, I think that the second, they're both from NIST, but the second one is very detailed. Very detailed. I think it's something that, I'm fine with the second one, I'm fine.
Okay, do you think we can eliminate this one? Is this one?
Well, the first one was one that was previously done before, something similar to this one.
It's like very generic, very like, I feel like it's more elementary. I feel like the second one is, it's more in line with the superintendent evaluation. I think it keeps everything more consistent.
Yeah.
So we'll,
Well,
do you have that, Lynn? We'll make those
So
two
what-
changes.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, I told Lynn we'll discuss it, and then once we make our final decision, then we'll say, okay, this is the changes we're gonna make on that particular policy.
Well, because there's only very few, I feel like this is very easy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, so making sure, are you gonna make the changes, Lynn, on the computer? Or do you
Well,
want-
this one right here, I don't have a Word document
Okay,
for it, so
that's fine.
otherwise,
I think you could just,
All right, so
so the
just-
second sentence.
So just so you
second
know, over
sentence,
here, only the member of the board shall conduct
a mid-year.
a mid-year review by in December,
Well, I think I would say mid-year self-evaluation
but it's not a,
by December, and then a final self-evaluation in May.
but this is all the self-evaluation here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do one at mid-year, we're gonna review it, and then we'll finalize it to see if there's some growth.
So I'm not sure we need to say self-evaluation, or do we just say evaluation utilizing, I'm trying to find the beginning of the
Oh, I see what you're saying, because it says self-evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just say
so you-
evaluation,
you-
and then,
utilizing the NISBA school board evaluation.
Yeah. and Lynn, this first one, the first couple of pages, this 1 through 4, we're
So,
going to
yeah,
remove that.
How about if let me just kind of talk to
Okay.
Lynn, and that way.
Yep, you do it.
She has people don't, so let's make sure that you got this. That the board shall conduct a mid-year review in December. And a final in May. And I think we need to use the words mid-year evaluation. So mid-year evaluation in December. And a final evaluation in May.
Fine.
And final in May. evaluation committee. And I think what we need to state on here, the board of education, I'm trying to see if there was like a wording for the NISBA. school board evaluation.
So Lisa, I think if we just have Lynn remove that first one and just keep the second one in. So we'll adopt it with that second one.
So you see this one here? So we're gonna, this one's gonna go.
We're gonna take it out.
So we're gonna use this one.
It's like the first one.
Which is then not back.
Maybe put a strike. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Do you have it on heat? Guys, we're in a five meeting. I'll remember it.
So, I need some second. So I think for the second part. I mean, sometimes I've seen where they explain who's gonna do it, but I think we could just discuss that. So, we want to do correspondence to the board from the publicness.
I just had a couple of suggestions. Because here it says public complaints, and it keeps talking about public complaints. I think we should expand on that and write public written complaints, common concern, or general input. Because it's not always complaints. We might have a suggestion. Somebody might have a question. Kind of negative, just to say.
Let's say, look, let's say,
Public input.
maybe even public input or something. I agree, when you say complaint, you always think of something negative.
Public written correspondence.
See you soon.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so maybe we should just eliminate public written correspondence,
Thank you.
and that's.
But-
And it's, yeah. So it said, it will be directed to proper administrative personnel, but I think that that's incorrect. I think the board directs it to the superintendent disseminates it. So I would say directed to the superintendent, who will disseminate to proper personnel. Right, Dr. Talbot, like, we're giving it to you and you disseminate, we're not gonna be disseminating it to them, right?
But it says here, if the matter is not satisfied, the complainant shall then contact the building principal. If there's no resolution on this level, the superintendent of schools or his or her designee shall be contacted. Superintendent shall refer the board for final resolution. I think part of the problem is that, it has here public complaints about the school district shall be directed to the proper administrative personnel. So it's talking about, I look at it in two ways. The first paragraph is talking about the board recognizes the right to receive information. So to me, it's just more of, if you have something, if a parent is, or someone is sending us something, if there's a concern. We would then redirect them back.
It's a chain of command, so
Right.
maybe we can just reword this where it will be directed to the superintendent, who will disseminate it to the proper chain of, and follow the proper chain of command, and maybe we can eliminate that part, because it's really just re-emphasizing the chain of command.
Okay, so just go ahead and speak that out again, and then,
Okay, let's say,
so I'll let you say this portion.
okay, public written correspondence to the school, wait, this doesn't make sense. Public written correspondence about the school district will be directed to the superintendent, who will disseminate and follow the chain of command. How do you want to say that, Dr. Talbot?
Well, I think disseminating to the proper administrative personnel. The appropriate
Yeah, the appropriate
to the
This is all for written correspondence?
This is just for written, it says correspondence to the board, so it's written.
So like correspondence, please. Is it
Well-
correspondence?
No, I think
Is it
that's
just
just phone call. Because. What do you do? You can't pass the phone.
And take notes on phone call?
One correspondence, to be honest. I mean, maybe we could add something in there, another paragraph about it to be a contact. I'd say directed to the superintendent, who will disseminate it to the appropriate personnel. Is that right?
Yes, to disseminate to the appropriate personnel.
And then should we put something about the chain of command? Or, I mean, it's really, that's what you're gonna do, you're gonna follow, right? Because you're just gonna kind of kick it down to the principal, who's gonna kick it down to the teacher.
So do we need to say public? Do we need to say written correspondence about the school district? Because, is it need to say public?
Well, the title of this correspondence to the board from the public. So the public is just anybody at greater large, right?
So just say it again, public written correspondence.
Public written correspondence about the school district will be directed to the superintendent. Will disseminate it to the appropriate personnel. I think this other part needs to be taken out because I think that if we want to put something in here that, you know, the chain of command will be followed, you know, where it's like teacher, principal,
Cause there's another policy that,
talks about the chain of command.
yeah,
We have, I think we can take this out. And then we can add this part there too, that way. The superintendent shall refer the issue to the board for final resolution if necessary. I think we should read that. So if it's an issue that's heightened to that level, the superintendent will come back to us for consideration or whatever it is. I think that last sentence should remain. And then the other sentence that I just wanted to kind of clean up was all correspondence received from the public will be acknowledged in a timely manner. I think it would be appropriate to put a time frame on that. Are we gonna respond within a day? Are we gonna respond within 48 hours? We expect our teachers to respond within a day. The board should be responding. Whatever the acknowledgement is. You know, thank you for your email, will be, you know, it has been superintendent.
I think,
24 to 48 hours.
I would say 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so
I think also what's important, there should be, it doesn't have to be placed in it, but there should be a generic response. It's typically what I've done in the past, typically I would say that, thank you so much, I received, you can, you can correspond, so you. I think what people understand that when we acknowledge, we just acknowledge it, doesn't mean that it's
Resolved.
it's just
Okay,
resolved.
so do you want to add, so let's go to the next step. All correspondence, we'll keep that second sentence. All correspondence received from the public will be acknowledged within 24 to 48 hours.
Where are you at? Where's it?
This is the second sentence of the second paragraph.
So public written correspondence about the school district will be directed to the superintendent, who will disseminate to the appropriate personnel. And now you're saying,
All correspondence received from the public will be acknowledged within 24 to 48 hours from the board president. What do you want to put there? From
but it all depends what they
Just
say.
say 48 hours.
to say within 48 hours, okay, within 48 hours. Do we need to say anything beyond that? I don't think we need to say anything else. But I don't think we have to overcomplicate it.
Because I think what people just need to understand, when it says acknowledge, that all we just acknowledge that we have received it.
All correspondence from the public will be acknowledged as received. Is that
Yeah,
better?
I'd rather do that, acknowledge as received.
Okay. Acknowledged as received within 48 hours. I would take out the rest. The superintendent shall refer the issue to the board for the final resolution if necessary.
Okay.
All matters referred to the superintendent's board shall be in writing. All matters referred to the concerns registered directly to the board as a whole or to an individual board member shall be, and then I had here, I wanted to add in, shared with all board members within the 48 hours, like we can stick to that for consistency. And refer to the superintendent for investigation / report / investigation. Okay? You got that, was right?
I'm just gonna repeat it back again. Because I want to make sure that everyone's right. So all matters referred to the superintendent and on the board shall be in writing, concerns registered directly to the board as a whole or to an individual board member shall be shared with the board within 48 hours.
I would say with the entire board. Within
Shall be shared with the
entire board. Okay, with the board, okay. And shall be shared with the board
within
48 hours. And refer to the superintendent for investigation before resolution. Is that good?
All right, so we're now up to, everyone's okay with this?
Can I just read the last one? So all matters referred to the superintendent and or the board shall be concerned with, registered directly to the board as a whole or to the individual board member shall be shared with the board within 48 hours and referred to the superintendent.
Yes, refer to the superintendent for investigation.
Refer as soon as we hot to the superintendent investigation report or resolution. So are we taking out?
Well, I don't think we should do it as reasonable as possible. I thought we said within 48 hours.
So
We're gonna
refer-
respond within 48
refer
hours.
to the superintendent.
We
For
actually think,
investigation.
I think it should probably be sooner than that, because if we're gonna get it and acknowledge it within 48 hours, we store it. Shouldn't we just automatically then within 24 hours give it to the super? What if it's something like really pressing? Urgent? What's on
I think,
I mean, that's up to the board, but I think we should give yourself some leverage.
a little bit of time so we don't get bored, what if it's a
Yeah.
Sunday
Yeah.
or a holiday?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, because, and I think it's the only thing we have to be very careful of is that
Don't pigeon-
we don't, because, and that means. We have to make sure that every single day, several
Yeah.
times a day that we're looking at emails,
I mean, I checked my email.
that we make sure that if something comes in. And what do we say shall be shared with, I think all classmates will be acknowledged as received within 48 hours during business hours.
Well, I think as a school board, you're kind of always on. If there's a pressing matter and it's an emergency, like I feel like it's our responsibility to be responsive and like check our emails. If you're right, that's like one of our responsibilities.
Right, so let's say, for example, like doing the Christmas break, when the schools are closed and nothing much is happening. It's like I didn't look at my email like every day, every night, you know what I mean? So I didn't, so if we're gonna put this in place, that means that we have to make sure that we look at our emails.
I think it's reasonable, because I think you have to think of it from a parent's perspective or community, if there's just really pressing stuff, sometimes it might just be input or a suggestion, but what if there's something like really pressing? Like something not good, we don't wanna say, hey, we didn't check our email, yeah, we should be checking our email at least once a day.
Is there a way to set up one email account? So I put on this and then that, anything sent to that email address gets forwarded to the board members?
Well, they do have that in other districts, they have like a
Board.
generic one, like it might say Amityville BOE at Amityville, whatever, that the clerk would. And then the clerk would decide.
But then we can't.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I was saying that you gotta
I think, yeah,
automatically forward it to all the board members.
we already have our own personal emails to the board, so.
But that way, like, we can say, all right, the complaints go to this, and then. Instead of making sure that you probably get more to the board president. And you got 2 days where you're tied up, and you can't check your emails, and you miss like 48 hours.
The only,
It's sent to everybody, then.
well, I do think sometimes they might send it to one person, or just the board president, or a different person, the only thing is like, we have to remember our due diligence is to like be checking our emails and be monitoring, so like, it's on us to do our job.
And what about circumstances where there's someone that is maybe sharing something with a board member, and just saying, I'm sharing with you, but I just share with you, I'm not looking for a resolution or anything like that.
It's just like
So,
FYI.
right, exactly, so
I think that's-
in that situation, then is it the responsibility of the woman to share with the entire board? Because what happens if the person says, I don't want to share with the entire board?
Well, I'll tell you,
I want to make you aware of it, I'm not trying to make an issue on it, you know what I mean? I just
Well,
wanna make-
I think that we're only here because we're a governing body. We're really not individuals. We're an operating governing body. So nobody's really here in this position just as one person. We're here as a collective body. So as a body.
I mean, that's just for me, I think for me personally, if someone shares something with me, and one thing's like, it's only happened once, and they say, I just want to make you aware of it. Not looking for it to be a big issue and for that to make you aware. And to me, it's someone has made me aware. To me, it's the same thing as someone walked up to me and said, you know what, I just want to make you aware that I think.
But they're making you aware because you're on the Board of Education, you're
Right.
part of the governing body.
Right,
So
but
then the whole board should be aware,
Right,
right?
but once again, it's what I can make the whole board aware, but what happens if the person says, I don't want someone to know my name, so I can tell the whole board that I
Well,
received.
School board 101 is you don't respond to anonymous.
Oh,
right?
I never, no,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about anonymous at all, I'm not talking about anonymous, but if someone walks up to me and says, hi, my name is Bobby Jones, I'm just gonna, my name is Bobby Jones, I mean, I'm a parent at such and such school, and I just wanna make you aware of X, Y, and Z. Right? But I don't want my name to be given out to the entire board.
But the Board of Education operates with confidentiality. So I think, again, we are a part of a body, we're not individuals, and then you can relay that to the board, the person doesn't want their name used, this is
Yeah, that's what I'm
confidential. But I think that you have to give it and say they want, they want it to remain anonymous, they don't want it to get out, this is, I'm sharing it with you, but it's confidential. But you have to trust your board members enough that we are a governing body and we operate in confidentiality.
Just relate to that person, in my position, I have to relay this message to the board.
Bingo.
It might be necessary for whatever the case is that your name.
Well, maybe up front you say that.
You're right. Yes.
On the gifts for the public, I only have one thing, and I'm not sure if it should go here or not. Teachers may not accept gifts exceeding $75 more in value, but I think that this is for the board, so I'm not sure where that would go.
Yeah, so that particular one was brought to our attention by Carl Fraser, and there's a whole layout, that we probably need to run through.
Is this for the, this one to get to the public? Okay.
I have one thing. 1D, all conditions or restrictions that may apply.
Oh, oh, good catch.
2, 3, 4.
So they,
1, 2, 3.
But-
Yeah.
Is there a
So-
separate one for the teachers?
just take one person.
Well, you're correct, because there is one applicable to the board as well. So this came to our attention when, Mary Stevens and Paul Frazier were meeting with an alum who wanted to make a donation, a scholarship donation to the district. And so when we went to look for a scholarship policy, there was not a direct scholarship policy. And so then we began to gather the policies that may be applicable, and we pulled some from another district to reference. So back to the original policy 1800 gifts from the public.
Yeah.
This Amityville policy, he recommended should be updated with additional information for gifts and donations through crowdfunding as reflected in the attached policy 1800. So let's see, we have the Amityville one. And then Mary, the one from Copay, is it also 1800?
No, it's like 5,800. Yeah, no, it's 5,800 and 5660. Yeah, it's
She did the one I just tapped out?
Yeah.
This cover on it?
Yeah.
So,
it's
student awards and
so,
scholarships.
yeah, it's say, yeah, mixed up.
So, okay, so just bring that to your attention. Then it went on to say 5,800, Amityville does not have this policy, but they're suggesting that we add policy based on the attached 5,800. And then there are two other districts that have a 5,800 that is also being compared, and their language was the same. Did you see that? And then-
I only see the one from the whole thing.
And then there's a cross-reference of 5,500 for FERPA.
Am I missing something? I have the one from Amityville, which is 1,800.
Two.
I have the next one that says student awards and scholarships.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that the one you're referencing? And then I have another one that says student
Gifts
gifts
and
and
solicitations, yeah, those are,
Already.
you're correct, those are the only ones we have attached. But I'm just reading from this cover sheet, saying that there are others, I guess, that are not with us here.
I don't see, I don't see the student.
Yeah, it's right here. Student gifts and
Oh,
solicitations.
so, okay.
Okay, so we do not have a student gifts and solicitations policy. We don't have a student award and scholarship policy. We have a gifts from the public policy.
So I am not. I personally do not want crowdfunding. It's kind of like a GoFundMe, whatever, because you have no oversight to that. You really don't know how much is gonna be used, how much they rate. They should zero oversight. I would not be in favor of that. For gifts from the public, the way I'm reading this particular policy, I think this is for the board to earmark when people gift us money or things like that. I didn't have a lot of input on that. I did have input on the scholarships though.
For me personally, I think, I didn't have anything for the gift from the public. I missed the apple instead of the fly.
Yeah.
But I think, I looked at it that if someone says that we want to make a donation to this. This happens that if we want to make a donation, that in terms of gift, if they want to make the donation, they have to say, what is the purpose of that gift? You know, I want to give $1,000 to buy
Yeah.
Chromebooks, right? That's the purpose, I want to give a donation to the high school, right? The purpose of it is to buy $1,000 worth of Chromebooks, kind of thing. The beneficiary of the food equities is stating the all condition restrictions that may apply. So I look at it that we're just saying, you're gonna give us this. But once again, the gift must not benefit a particular or named individual.
Well, you know, I've had this in my other districts, you know, we had like wealthy people that would donate money to the district. And they would say, I'm gifting you, by the way, sometimes it was like crazy amounts of money, but I'm just gonna say like what, and say it was $1,000. I'm giving this to the principal to use how you see fit for the students or whatever. That's what we would do. So we would get checks. And they might suggest something, but that doesn't mean that the board has to do that. It's at the discretion of the board.
Right.
So I think that this might say that. Does it say it's at the discretion of the board?
Any gift rejected by the board, so.
It says no gift or trust.
So,
I'm sure, well, can we add maybe that the gift? The dissemination of the gift or how it will be applied will be disseminated, the final decision will be by the Board of Education. Right, because if somebody said, I only want to give this money for this classroom or whatever, like, you can't do that, right? It has to kind of be equal.
So,
Can we add?
I
So
think,
if I can. Make
I think
like 5G, they'll give their trust will be accepted by the board unless they have full discretion on when to utilize the funds.
I think we just should look at it from a larger lens.
yeah,
And, go ahead.
Yes,
Olivia.
I think this was something that reached out to, Alan Yu. And the reason why he did that was because in this particular case, the family or the person who was going to give the gift wanted to get names of kids and make a selection.
We can't do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because of 2D, and that was
Yes.
Alan's point, that when it gets to that point, they can't go too far, so that piece about other discretion of the Board of Education becomes very important.
So let's add,
Now the board decides, not
yeah,
the donor.
so Chris is suggesting 5D, right?
Yeah.
Dissemination of funds will be at the discretion of the board, we add that.
so can I just make a recommendation, dissemination of funds is based on the recommendation of the board with consultation with the superintendent?
That's even better. Sure.
Okay, which one?
We're doing 5G, right?
D, we're adding a D.
Yeah, it's so dissemination of the funds. It's at discretion. Discretion of the board. Station,
Yeah, because I don't wanna make it that the superintendent has the final word, the board has the final word, but I do think it's important that the superintendent says, you know,
so that's why I said with consultation.
what consultation aspect. Consultation. Of the board with consultation of the superintendent.
Now, may I ask, Ms. Stevens, are there any concerns that this policy does not address? That was a part of your conversation with your mom who wanted to make the donation? Was everything all cleared? And this policy should be good
If they're making the donation directly.
to the district?
The only thing that I wanted to ask, can we like tether this to the student, I think this is at the end, the student awards and scholarships, just because maybe it goes hand in hand, like maybe John placed it, can we do that?
See, we don't have a student award and scholarship policy. We do not.
What is it? This says now. This says
No.
we haven't done it.
Yeah, that's not ours. It's the sample.
But that's good.
Yeah, it's on the-
Oh, is this?
Well, I want to make sure, so the only thing that we changes on this one for 1,800 is under 1D. We need to apply instead of Apple. And then for 5D, it's dissemination of funds is at discretion of the board with consultation with the superintendent. Those are the only changes.
Just not sure.
Right, so that one is finished.
Question. Do we have a policy 1801? Can we make the student awards and scholarships like 1801? Because they'll kind of go hand in hand or not?
Well,
Or how do you do
I
that?
know that, there are 3 other districts that have that same one and they call it 5,800.
Oh, so should we just do it 1500?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
We put a note on this.
Cross-reference,
Yeah,
So that-
Yeah,
this also has cross reference.
so at the bottom
Yes.
there, reference would be 5,800.
Dr. Talbot, the not to exceed $75 gift for teachers, do we have a policy for that, or is this something we should add to this? Even though this is a gift to the Board of Education, I feel like we have to list that somewhere.
So if you look in the same attachment at policy 2160. 2160, someone with good eyes, number one, it says gifts, there's a contradiction, do you see it there? An officer or, this is our policy. An officer or employee shall not directly or indirectly solicit any gift or accept or receive any gift
Oh, we just have to fix that.
having a value of $100 or more. So that should say 75 if that's the.
Okay,
Yeah,
just update that.
So Lynn, do you have that?
No, which one was that?
No,
2160.
2160.
All right, so
Under one, it should be 75,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, guys, thank you.
This,
okay, hold on a second. So 2160, the only thing we're making recommended change that's gonna be $75.
$75.
Yes. So maybe just, you know, that was.
Now, since we're talking about solicitations, policy 5660 talks about student gifts and
wait,
solicitation.
can we do this one first, or should we do that one? Because the student award, I just wanted to add one thing to this,
One second, let me just, I'm trying to help her.
I could give her all my written notes.
But we're trying to also make it on here as well.
But she's on 5800.
You want Mary? I don't need to volunteer you, but she wasn't good at this last time. You want Mary to do this, so we can just move along?
Yeah, I was just gonna do it for the minutes, so therefore she will be.
Oh,
Yeah. So you can keep going on, catch up.
okay, for the student awards and scholarship, the only thing that I wanted to add, because this was an issue last year. I know of a student who received a scholarship and it had monetary value. And I don't think it was necessarily from the school district, I think it was through the ATA. The student had no idea that there was criteria, that they had to submit information, so when they received the scholarship. Like months later, they're like, yes, I never got money. And the ATA was like, well, you never submitted the criteria. And Karen as a student, like, you never gave us the criteria. So I was just gonna say, add any criteria for such scholarship shall be shared with the student / parent or guardian to apply. Right, because it would make sense.
Would that be a whole new?
A new paragraph.
So just say it again.
Any criteria,
This is before the gifts, right?
this is, I was gonna say like, that's even the last paragraph or it ends the end. This is for 5800. These are, this is a new one from okay.
This is the new one that I contract.
No, this is something,
You know, the one I passed out to you in the packets.
so that, okay, yeah, you're right.
You got 5800?
Right, because I
Do we have that?
Oh, what awarded, how about what awarded?
Yeah.
Okay,
All that.
Right, so.
At which time,
Like the day.
Yeah, Yeah, but hold on.
yeah, let's just.
Okay.
Mary, you might know this, Chris had a really good question.
So Wendy said, adding a timeline to when they should have
The criteria, so is it at the time that they're notified of the scholarship, like how it gets notified?
I would think it would have to be twice, it should be in the application itself, right, which we don't necessarily govern. but if
Any
it's not-
application,
Right, if it's not in an application,
So.
then it would have to
Okay.
be at this time.
so maybe we add that any,
Alright, so
Okay.
before you guys go, so what Lynn did. What Lynn did, she wrote it up. And you guys have it in your package. And so we can maybe just, I'm just gonna make it up to you guys, so what she did. For, are we doing student gift solicitation? So what she did. She attached the old one. But what she did, she typed it up into a new.
okay,
We're just saying FYI.
Okay.
okay, great.
So, go ahead.
How about we put any scholarship application shall include all criteria?
Isn't that the case now?
No, I just told you what happened. Somebody got a scholarship and they were never notified of criteria.
So, this is my question, and just, when we talk about. When you say criteria, I'm thinking in my mind, this is the criteria to apply for the scholarship, so I think we need to clarify.
To receive a monetary award, how about that? Any scholarship application which involves monetary award shall list all pertinent criteria.
to receive the money.
To receive scholarship. And then to Mary's point, maybe a second sentence. The criteria shall be disseminated. What do you say, Mary? The
Well-
second time at when you're handing it out? Mary's saying you need to do both on the application and when you hand it out, so when you hand it out. At the award ceremony. In writing, I think we should say in writing. So they should have it in a packet, like I used to do the award ceremony, and we used to give, like, we used to write something up, and we would give the scholarship, and we would have an envelope, and we would give it, like that's what we used. This is obviously different, but
Not just the money though. What about if you are giving the laptop? Shouldn't have the criteria before?
yeah, so maybe we should say a gift, monetary or otherwise.
To receive the award. The award could be monetary or an item. Any scholarship application shall include all pertinent criteria to receive the award.
So then
You're saying, just make it simple. Okay.
Alright, so let's read it back through again, one person.
All I have is that one little thing.
Any scholarship application
Shall-
shall list all pertinent criteria to receive the award.
List.
Yes.
List, okay,
Pertinent.
criteria.
To receive the.
And then add a second sentence. Written criteria shall accompany the award when.
Written. Upon presentation of the award.
Disseminated.
So say it again.
Written criteria shall.
Upon presentation of award. Upon presentation of award. Written criteria. Shall be. Shall be included
Yes,
upon presentation of award. Written criteria. Shall be included.
simple.
Criteria shall be included.
Um,
Can I just ask a question, shall it be included in order to receive the award or no, just shall be?
just shall be included, like they'll have to, they'll have to do it to get the, you're just telling them twice. you
Alright,
know?
so I wanna make sure that Lynn has it, so Lynn, you wanna read back what you have? Absolutely. Okay. Shall this all pertinent criteria to receive written criteria? So let's start from the beginning. So any scholarship application shall list.
Shall list.
Right?
Shall list all pertinent criteria to receive the award. Sentence. Written criteria upon presentation of award.
No, I think it's the other way, upon presentation of the award.
Yeah, that's.
That's written criteria shall include, so let's read it one more time, any scholarship application
Any scholarship application
shall list.
list all pertinent criteria to receive.
Yeah, right. The next part will be on presentation of the award. Written criteria shall be. included. Yeah. So everyone has it.
I think, should we list this on here 2160, so that we know that we just covered that? We just made that one change.
Yes.
Yes,
That we can adopt it.
On the list, on the cover.
on the main list.
Yes. the district officer.
Yes, but could we also, before we move
Yeah.
on, look at 5660? So 5660 explicitly talks about student gifts and solicitation. And as of now, I guess what perhaps we should have brought was the fraternization policy. 5660 is in that
That's the
right
new one,
here.
that's the new one.
And I didn't, you gave us that. Lynn,
This is one.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
yes, yes, you gave us that.
Can I,
Okay.
can I just ask a favor? I don't know what I did with my main list. So, can someone just make a copy for me? Which one is that? That one is, okay, okay,
Meaning this,
I don't, never get it. I want to make this.
is that the right one? And this one looks short, January 15th. January 15th.
Right, so,
The other question I have, are we sticking to these numbers or do we have to check these numbers?
we'll check the number. So I'm looking, I'm in the 5800, right, I'm in the 5 now.
21.6.
We'll look to see if there's already.
Okay, so then
5660 is all the way at the bottom. It's not in there for us, but that's there. I created it, 5660. It's all the way at the bottom. I love that.
So I know we had a fraternization policy. Is this something we want to add to the fraternization policy or just have a simple separate
I
policy?
think it's a simple separate policy. I think it's really nice how it's written.
As is?
I think so. I mean, I don't know, just what do you think?
So you have it in your red.
Yes, I mean, it's very simple.
So looking at student gifts and solicitation. I guess I'm sure.
Should we change fund drives to fundraisers? Are we accepting outside organizations to distribute fundraise, do we do that? Should we take that out?
Any outside organization
Yeah, do we normally distribute that to students? I don't think we don't.
designed to distribute flyers and materials to students in connection with, well, sometimes they'll have coat drives, shoe drives, and the student councils or clubs
Is
may.
there a way to, should we just tweak that wording, fundraisers or
Fund drives.
fund drives is better?
I think so, because I approve every flyer that's disseminated.
So are we making any changes to this, to students and gifts? So everyone's good.
That's
And so we're gonna cross-reference it to.
Oh, gifts from the public, well, that's for students and.
I think it would be good to cross-reference into the fraternization policy, whatever number.
Is that 9150?
Yes.
50, I think.
Yes,
I mean, if we stuck with the one from that one.
yeah.
I did it so long, I
9150.
know by heart.
All right, cross-reference 9150. Fraternization.
We're good with that?
You good?
Is the youth and service animal? I saw that the lawyer from, spoke about the bullying, like, do we have to do that? Is it creating-
Yeah, I just wanted to. Share. Okay. Flip this back. That was, Eddie signed on that.
So that's the
Nobody.
Eddie. Close it.
Leave it on.
Okay, so use of service animals, policy 3213.
Okay.
Is this the one to retype that? Was it the one at the time?
So this
Oh, this
is
is a new
one
one.
that legal gave us on 11/18/24. I'm not sure if Lynn had that version or not.
I don't have it.
Okay.
But I just have it.
Okay,
Oh, they added the last paragraph on the top of it, see that?
yes,
So that, okay.
but then the memo that's attached back here, there's that. It says, we note that the review policy includes a reference to miniature horses in the last paragraph. The board may want to include the following paragraph. Since miniature horses are not mentioned anywhere else in the policy, and this memo is January 8th. So this memo came after the policy was approved, right?
Okay, so let's add that.
So
Adding what?
in the very end of the packet is this memo from legal. And this right here is what they're suggesting we may want to consider to add.
I think that,
So, then,
because it talks about a specific stance.
Yeah,
That is the, what memo?
it's attached to the packet that's just passed to you at the very end.
that was something else, somewhere else where they said just take miniature horses out of it.
Do we have to leave the motion?
If we have to leave it in for, you know,
Well, they're saying since it's in there. They're saying that we would allow the use. And it would only be permitted when it's been individually trained to do the work.
we want to take it out,
Because
but let's take out that part.
we're gonna have to ask.
See if somebody tries to bring it.
Well, it's not a problem.
But that means, we're gonna have
I
to
know.
come. I know. We'll have to come back and reapprove this because we approved it with that in there.
Okay, so we'll just take out that last paragraph.
You mean that last,
That superintendent or designated create procedure,
we'll just take out the word, use of service, animals and scratch?
use of service animals on school grounds.
Yes, service animals,
We'll take that.
yeah, we'll take out those three words. Yeah.
Why is there like different words involved in that help?
Because it's just showing changes.
Oh, all right, so that's not gonna be part of this, I'll just.
That's-
Yeah.
So we're good with that?
So,
Oh, wait, I had a suggestion
okay,
on something that I read. I think it was from different district, I think, or it was a,
so,
it was from the Farmingdale State College that was in here as a reference, but something that they did put in here was they added two things. One, is the dog required because of a disability? Two, what work or task has the dog been trained? We like to ask that.
Those are the only two questions that we can ask.
Yeah, I think we should include
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
It's in the
So it's you-
Farmingdale State College one.
Cause you can't ask, like, they're not required to have certification or anything.
So we just have to figure out where we want to put that.
okay, so there was a regulation that I attached. Do you all have the regulation?
Oh, you know what, do we want to put that? Do we put that paragraph ahead of it where it says additionally, the district cannot ask about the nature, extent of the person's disability to determine whether a person's animal qualifies as a service animal. However, when it is not readily apparent that a dog is a service animal, should we say the superintendent may make two inquiries to determine whether the dog qualifies as a service animal, which are one, or is the dog required because of a disability, or two, what work or task has the dog,
I'd say superintendent
So-
or designated.
Oh, yeah.
If we take a moment and look at the regulation, that might answer some of our questions. So that was your assignment tonight to develop a regulation for the policy that we had adopted. But being that we got the memo January 8th, we gotta,
the regulation, can we just go ahead and?
well, I think it might be helpful.
Okay.
So particularly around the,
I'm trying to catch up here. I'm trying to remember.
I'll show you.
Where are we with the regulation in which packets? Because I have so many packets.
Right. The one year. Right.
No, but. Okay, I think I have two now. I'm just looking at this. Yeah, but I don't have it in there.
This way you were.
Regulations.
Okay, I just passed around. Yes. Yes, regulation for the use of service animals, January 15th.
Okay.
And it should have draft, but it doesn't, so it's draft. Do you see it? Yes.
Okay, I got it.
So particularly, where it says general requirements, who's eligible. The task that we were just talking about must be under the control of the handler at all times, must be in good health, vaccinated, licensed. Should be well behaved, not pose a threat. And then procedures, individuals seeking to bring a service animal onto school property must submit a written request to the building principal or their designee at least 10 school days in advance, when possible. Documentation, proof of the animal's health, information on the task the animal is trained to perform, a statement of the individual's disability, if not already on file, IEP or 504. And then how do we evaluate the process? The building principal, in consultation with relevant staff, will review the request. If the request meets policy and regulation requirements, the principal will issue written approval. Denial, request may be denied if the animal is not a service animal, poses a threat, is not housebroken.
Can I just ask one more request when it comes to approval part, this regulation? That I think it should also, the principal will notify the superintendent that they have approved, you know what I mean? Because this is just my perspective. If the building principal has done all this and then approves it.
Well, of course, the superintendent should know.
Well, but yeah, but I'm just saying, it's not.
It doesn't say it, yeah.
So I think we need to add that one step. That under, we have review, approval, the number.
So,
Hold on a second. Also, do you feel that should there be a step for HR that HR files this, like the employee's file? I mean, does that make
if they're
sense?
gonna definitely be, involved in the
I
process.
know, but like, do we have to spell it out on this policy?
Can I just ask a question? What happens if it has to be an employee that brings in a service animal? What happens if I have a service animal and I say, I would like to bring my service animal in?
What
If it's a student, then see, a statement of the individual's disability is not already on file for students with the IEP or section 504.
Or if you have a parent coming through, parent teacher conference.
That's applicable because we did have this.
So let's just add the thing about this.
Okay, but we also need to go back up to Roman numeral 2, because this was written when the other item was included.
They were taking out the.
Let's take that out.
Yes.
So just, so,
Which is trained,
a service animal is defined as a dog,
which is
Yeah.
trained to
Yeah.
perform.
so we can take out everything else, or in specific circumstances, administered force. We're taking that out?
Yeah, we're just gonna leave a service animal supplied as a dog, which is trained to perform tasks or do work regularly.
Which is trained.
And then, procedures, Lisa, you wanted to add a number, agree to that? Where did you want to add?
In number 5, the evaluation approval process.
You want to add that?
So I feel like, number 2 says, if the request meets policy and regulation requirements, the principal will issue written approval and specifying conditions for the service animals.
And provide the superintendent in HR a copy of same.
Well, do we want to go back to review? The building principal or designee in consultation with HR
Yeah.
will review the request and supporting documentation.
So
In
with
consultation
with HR,
Yeah, human resources.
Will
Okay.
review the request and supporting documentation.
uh-oh.
But I think that we should say, and the superintendent should be supplied a copy as well, I feel like we should put that in there.
So the building principal designate in consultation with human resources.
Yeah.
And relevant staff.
I mean, no, because why is it relevant staff? You're having the administrator review it, and you're having HR review it.
Right, so building principal designate in consultation with HR. Because the relevant staff would be, if that staff. would have-
Unless it's PBS. You wanna put PBS? PBS.
In consultation with relevant staff. I think we should leave relevant staff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it
Okay.
could be HR or.
With relevant staff and human resources.
Well, I do think human resources should be involved, it should be in their file, yeah, and HR.
If the
Do we need
request-
to specify that this policy is for students and staff, because we can't really expect, like I said, a parent to have to go through this entire approval process just to go to one night of parent teacher conference.
Well, the only thing is, hold on a second, because what if
Yeah.
people are like, I,
But
We wanted to include this section of the
Every day.
policy.
Right.
This is like.
And- Yes.
yes,
It's just next. Thank you for joining us.